Well, a big story this morning. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has reached the U.S. He landed at Maryland's Andrews Air Force Base on Sunday ahead of his meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump on Tuesday. He was then welcomed at the Blair House in Washington on Sunday evening ahead of his important Tuesday meeting. It's a very important meeting, the Israeli Prime Minister told reporters before takeoff. Listen in. Well, Netanyahu said he would discuss with the president Israel's war against Hamas, the release of all the hostages, and the Iranian terror axis. His first high-level meeting will be on Monday with Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. For more on this, we're joined by David K. Johnston from New York. He's a professor of public policy at the Rochester Institute of Technology. Really appreciate you joining us, Professor. I'd like to begin by asking you the question on everyone's minds this morning, rather, with Netanyahu's heading to Washington to redraw the map of the Middle East. Do you think this is a case of striking while the iron is hot, or is he walking a tightrope, balancing internal and international pressures?
Well, he certainly has to balance the internal pressures. Remember, he's being tried right now for serious corruption charges. But very plainly, Netanyahu is hoping to get Donald Trump's backing so that he can push Palestinians out of Gaza and other parts of what historically was Palestine. He can resume using the 2,000-pound bombs that the Biden administration stopped sending to Israel because they were being used to attack hospitals and apartment buildings rather than any kind of military targets. But I think Netanyahu clearly sees here's an opportunity he's not likely to get again to achieve his goal of basically pushing Muslims and especially Palestinians out of territory he would like to be part of Israel, or at least totally under military control by Israel.
Professor, Netanyahu also faces mounting pressure from the far right, in fact, back home. Now, to restart the war, is this a case of one step forward and two steps back for Israel?
Yeah, I don't think this ceasefire will hold for very long, and maybe not as long as anticipated for exactly that reason. His coalition of very far right people in Israel, whose sons, by the way, do not serve in the combat forces, is very fragile. And keeping that together is essential to his staying in power. There are a lot of us who view his efforts in Gaza to maintain his power and avoid the prospect of going to prison.